So I built an aerospace resume bank for you. That is, of course, if you want to break into the aerospace industry and work at companies like SpaceX, NASA, or Blue Origin. If that is you, then yeah, I've got a bunch of resumes, about a dozen or so, from interns and other career professionals that they use to break into the industry. All the resumes are in the bank, which is in the description below, free of charge, of course. So yeah, in this video, I'm just going to show you around the bank, talk to you about why I built the bank, and then I'll show you a couple of resumes from SpaceX, NASA, and Blue Origin engineers. Yep, let's do it. All right, so here's the bank. Let's walk through it. So first thing you'll do, you'll click the README, and that'll just show you everything that you need. You know, nice introductory. Thank you to everyone that helped create it. And then it'll walk you through each column, explaining how to use it, all the different views, explaining how to use it, how to filter and search, and how to see the resumes exactly. And then, of course, if you enjoyed the bank, then you can, leave a review, which would really appreciate. That'll just take you to this form where you can just say, hey, I liked it, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, let's hop into the bank. So here are all the resumes we have so far. I have it ranked so that you can see the resumes themselves. That's the title. So let's think of this as like the head of it, and then the companies they worked at, whether they worked at somewhere else initially, what role they had, the title they had at that company, when they entered the industry, the GPA that they had when they started at the company, the degree that they're currently working towards, if they were working towards a degree, their education level, so they're sophomore, junior, these are for college, obviously. Whether they're internationals, don't have any of those yet, but I do plan to make some, get some more information for internationals. I know a lot of internationals want to work in American aerospace. I'm trying to, help them out. And then, yeah, how much experience they had. You can see not a lot of them had a lot of experience. Whether they worked in a previous industry or a previous role, that's more for early career folks. So yeah, that's the generic, that's that view. Then we'll go, you can come to this view, which will filter it by company, so you can see all the Blue Origin ones we have. We only have one. Boeing, Collins, Firefly, Lockheed, NASA, Rocket Lab, SpaceX, all of these. And then you can filter by specific role type, so entry level, intern, a lot more interns in the bank right now. Hopefully we can expand it more over time. And then yeah, if you wanted to search for like a specific role, you could come over to like filter, and you can filter by role, and then you'll type in, okay, I just want to see mechanical engineers, and that'll show you. Currently we only have one mechanical engineer in the bank, so that's the one that it would show. But yeah, you could filter by a whole host of things. So maybe you want to see people who have a GPA of, you want to see in this range, the 3 to 3.5 range. You can do that, and you'll see all the GPAs within that range. As you can see, you don't need a perfect GPA to get a role at some of these companies. And yeah, so briefly, why I built the bank, I did this because, I've been rejected from, everything under the sun. I applied to SpaceX, Lockheed, Boeing, Blue Origin, every company you can think of, I probably applied to, and I was rejected from all of them. And it was just like, it's okay, right? Okay, I get rejected, whatever. But all the rejection emails are the same. It's, hey, we went with other candidates. Sorry, we're moving forward with other people. We regret to inform you, yada, yada, yada. We just think someone else's skills apply more, yada, yada, yada. All that, you know what it is. For me personally, it was just like, okay, I get that, but like, how do I improve based on that? That's not really helpful to me. I'm not going to be able to take any information from that and like, okay, so my skills weren't good. What skills weren't good? How do I, what skills should I learn so I can, because you have to go through the role and try to tailor it, and you think you do, right? You think you've got everything that they want, but they reject you anyways. You're like, okay, well, are you gonna help me out here? No, I'm not gonna help you out. So I realized quickly they weren't gonna help me out, so I decided, okay, I'm just gonna try to figure it out on my own and figure out how I can figure out what they want. And I thought, the best way to do that is to look at resumes that did get through their filter. So that's what I did. I said, okay, let me go find some resumes from people who actually did make it into it. And I said, okay, well, if I'm gonna do that, I might as well build something like this so that other people, because I'm sure there's lots of us out there, the acceptance rate for SpaceX is like 1%. Blue Origin, same thing. Lockheed, same thing. They're all hard to get into. So I'm sure there's lots of people who have been rejected. So I said, hey, if I can figure out a way that I can help other people get in, I'm going to do that. Because the core philosophy of mine is that we're all going to make it. And I truly believe that if we all help each other out and do our part to help one another, we're all going to make it. So enough of that. Let's go look at some more resumes. So yeah, I promised you a NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. So let's go and look at, how about this one right here? NASA Instrumentation and Test resume. Okay, so this guy came in intern summer 2025. He had a GPA under 3.0, actually, under 3.0, okay? So that shows you that you don't need to have, excellent, I'm not trying to dog this guy. But, they don't look purely at your academics. It's a more holistic approach, at least at NASA, I think. This guy, he was a senior at the time when he got in as well, did electrical engineering. Yeah, here's his resume. So, but yeah, so we have, let's just look at the structure of the resume. So one thing that I want y'all to, take notice of is that most resumes I get through the filter have a similar format to this. They're all black and white, simple black and white, no profile picture, this format where it's, listed in this manner. Work experience at the top, technical projects, education, organizations, languages, skills. The exact orientation of it kind of changes, resume to resume, but in general, you want this format. So we have here a SpaceX Dragon Structures Engineer. Let's check this guy out. Okay, so after he worked at SpaceX, he went to Skydio. He was an intern. He came in summer 2024. He had it in that range. Yada, yada, yada. You can see, you can read. So I look at his resume. As I said, black and white. This is the structure of it. This is how it goes. Skills at the bottom. This is the second one I've seen in that orientation. He's kind of cracked. I ain't gonna lie. All right. So, he did Formula SAE, then worked at Apple, then Tesla, then SpaceX. So kind of cracked, yeah, he had a pretty great GPA as well, 3.8. And solid mechanics, dynamics, fluids, your classical mechanical engineer, right? I don't think I saw, yeah, mechanical engineer, right? Classic mechanical engineering pathway. But yeah, no, let's look at, he doesn't really have a project section because he has a lot of experience. So, obviously that's the transition that you have. When you have less experience, you do emphasize more on your projects. When you have more experience, you can pull back on your projects, and your experience should do the heavy lifting for you. And I've noticed that in interviews, because I did have a SpaceX interview early in May, but it didn't go through. Full transparency, but I did know that they were they're emphasizing a lot on projects. And they were really tearing apart your resume. So if you put something on your resume, you better be able to give a PhD dissertation on it, right? Okay, and then finally I said Blue Origin, right? Where's my guy? Here he is. Blue Origin, Guidance, Navigation, and Controls Engineer, GNC, fun. Okay, so he came in, went through 2024-25, 3.5 GPA, above 3.5 GPA, and he did computer engineering. You guys can read. So asked for 3.63, again, same format. There's a third of the skills at the bottom. We're noticing a trend here, so maybe that's the structure. So yeah, education, work experience, project experience, and skills at the bottom. Good way to just skim through it. Dean's List, smart guy. But yeah, he started at, I guess his real first job role was here at Rolls-Royce, where he was a software engineering intern. And from there, he was able to get into Blue Origin and to do guidance, navigation, and controls. So it looks like you do need some level of work experience or, some high-level project experience. So let's look at his projects. So his project he did, automated Roomba robot, FPGA vending machine, and a MIDI controller. I believe that's how it is, MIDI controller. Yeah, in general, I think the best way to structure this project section or any bullet point in general is the Google XYZ format, which is accomplish X is measured by Y by doing Z. He doesn't really do that here. What he does do is just mention, he takes extreme ownership of the things that he's done. I can't write, can't talk. While working in a team is good, you can notice that he doesn't really mention that he's worked in a team here. So that shows that he's taken a lot of ownership in the projects that he's working on. He does mention that this one's an academic project, so I'm assuming that's with the school. So maybe that was a team-based one. But the other two are clearly personal projects that he worked on himself and took extreme ownership in, which is a great thing that I like to see. I call it the OFT principle: ownership, first principles thinking, technical skills. Those are the big three that I think, universal across all aerospace companies. They want you to have skills in. For me, when my SpaceX internship and my SpaceX job, I just didn't have enough technical skills, so I had to start building some more things, which is why I built, that rocket behind me. Got the video coming out for that soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, ownership, first principles, technical ability. Those are the big three. So yeah, that's the Aerospace Resume Bank. I got a bunch more here for you guys to see if you want to check it out. Again, link is in the description. And then if you want to leave a review, this is actually the homepage. I actually plan to do a lot more. So that was just the Aerospace Resume Bank. I plan to do like an aerospace interview forum, drop some projects that you guys can use, and of course plug the YouTube channel that you're watching on. But yeah, if you have any feedback once you do it, leave a review, so that would help. And yeah, again, we're all gonna make it if we all help each other. That is, if we all help each other, like the people who helped me build the Aerospace Resume Bank, there's no doubt in my mind that together we're all gonna make it.